Stop sharing your success. Jealous people will destroy you. Listen closely. What I'm about to tell you will save you from the wolves disguised as friends. You work in silence for months. You grind, you sacrifice, you finally break through. And what do? You celebrate publicly. You post your win. You share your success. Foolish, you just painted a target on your back. You invited envy into your life. And envy doesn't congratulate. It calculates, it waits, it destroys. Machiavelli understood this 5 centuries ago. The masses don't celebrate your rise. They resent it. Your success reminds them of their failures. Your progress exposes their stagnation. So they smile to your face. They like your posts. They say congratulations. But behind closed doors, they're plotting, they're gossiping, they're hoping you fall. This is not pessimism. This is reality. Comment, I move in silence, if you're ready to learn the way of power. Section 1. The psychology of envy, why they hate your wins. Let me explain the dark psychology behind this. When you share your success, you trigger a primal response in others. It's called social comparison theory. Humans automatically measure themselves against you. And when you're winning, they're losing by default in their own minds. This creates cognitive dissonance. Their ego can't handle it. So what happens? They rationalize, they diminish, they attack. He got lucky. She probably cheated. It won't last. He's changed. He's arrogant now. Notice the pattern. They rewrite the narrative to protect their fragile self-image. Your success becomes their failure. Your progress becomes their stagnation. And resentment grows like cancer. Machiavelli wrote that men are quick to change allegiance. They love you when you're struggling alongside them. But elevate yourself. You become the enemy. You're no longer relatable. You're a mirror reflecting their inadequacy. The jealous don't want to climb. They want you to fall. They'll spread rumors, sabotage opportunities, betray confidences, celebrate your setbacks while wearing masks of concern. This isn't everyone, but it's enough people to destroy you if you're careless. The weak are dangerous in numbers. They bond over shared mediocrity and target anyone who threatens their comfortable narrative. Comment, envy reveals the weak if this truth resonates. Section 2. The Machiavellian principle, power loves secrecy. Machiavelli's greatest lesson wasn't about cruelty, it was about concealment. The prince who broadcasts his strategies loses wars before they begin. The ruler who reveals his resources invites invasion. Power operates best when wrapped in mystery. Why? Because information is leverage. Every detail you share becomes a weapon in someone else's hands. They study your patterns. They identify your vulnerabilities. They wait for the perfect moment to strike. Think about it strategically. When you announce you're starting a business, competitors emerge. When you reveal you're applying for positions, others rush to apply. When you share your relationship, suddenly everyone has opinions and interference begins. You're not being cautious, you're being intelligent. The strongest empires were built in silence. Amazon didn't announce its retail domination strategy. Apple kept the iPhone secret until launch. Powerful families accumulate wealth across generations without fanfare. They understand Law 3 from the 48 laws of power: conceal your intentions. They know that mystique creates authority. Silence breeds respect. Ambiguity generates power. Your childhood friends don't need to know your income. Your colleagues don't need your 5-year plan. Your social media followers don't need real-time updates of your wins. Let them wonder. Let them speculate. Let them underestimate you while you're systematically conquering your goals. This isn't about arrogance or secrecy for ego. This is tactical. This is survival at the highest level. The moment you announce your next move, you give your opposition time to prepare countermeasures. But when you move in darkness, when you strike without warning, when your success is already established before anyone realizes you were even playing the game, that's when you become untouchable. That's when you transcend the reach of jealous, small-minded people who feed on drama and gossip. Silence isn't empty. It's full of power waiting to be unleashed at your chosen moment. Comment: silence is my strategy right now. Section 3. The Evil Eye. Ancient wisdom meets modern reality. Every ancient culture understood something modern society forgot. The evil eye, negative energy, the curse of envy. Greeks feared it. Italians protected against it. Middle Eastern cultures wore amulets to deflect it. Why? Because they recognized a fundamental truth about human consciousness and energy. When someone envies you deeply, their thoughts carry weight. Their resentment creates interference. Call it psychology, call it energy, call it quantum observation affecting reality. The label doesn't matter, the effect does. Studies show that being watched changes performance, that external judgment alters outcomes, that negative attention creates measurable stress responses affecting your decision-making, your health, your focus. You think you're immune, you're not. Nobody is. When you broadcast your success, you invite thousands of eyes onto your journey. Most are neutral, some are supportive, but a percentage. They're actively hoping you fail. They're visualizing your downfall. They're feeding negative energy into your sphere. This isn't superstition. This is recognizing that human attention and intention have impact. You've felt it. That heaviness after sharing something personal. That sudden obstacle after announcing a plan. That inexplicable anxiety after posting a major win. The universe has laws. One of them is that exposure creates vulnerability. Machiavelli would call this maintaining strategic advantage through information control. Psychologists call it protecting your mental space from external interference. Spiritualists call it shielding your energy from psychic attack. Different languages, same truth. Your goals are seeds. They need darkness to germinate. They need protection to grow. Expose them too early to harsh light and contrary winds. They die before bearing fruit. This is why the wealthy stay private, why powerful people avoid interviews, why successful individuals keep their circles microscopic. They're not antisocial. They're protecting their empire from the corrosive effects of mass attention and envy. You want to succeed? Guard your plans like state secrets. Operate like an intelligence agency. Share nothing until it's irreversible. Let people discover your success after it's already cemented, when their jealousy is powerless to stop what's already done. The evil eye can't curse what it cannot see. Envy can't destroy what remains hidden until it's indestructible. Move like a ghost. Strike like lightning. Reveal yourself only when victory is absolute and irreversible. Comment: I protect my energy if you understand this ancient principle. Section 4. The Betrayal Pattern. How your circle becomes your sabotage. Here's what nobody tells you about betrayal. It rarely comes from enemies. It comes from your inner circle, from people you trusted with your dreams. You share your business idea with a friend over coffee. 3 months later, they've launched the same concept. Coincidence? No. Theft disguised as inspiration. You tell your colleague about the promotion you're pursuing. Suddenly, they're networking with the same executives, positioning themselves as the better candidate. They smile at you in meetings while undermining you in private conversations. You reveal your relationship struggles to a close friend. They use that information to seduce your partner, offering themselves as the understanding alternative. This is the pattern. This is how it always unfolds. Machiavelli warned that familiarity breeds contempt. The closer people get, the more they see. And the more they see, the more they covet. Your wins become intolerable because they witnessed your starting point. They think, if he can do it, why can't I? But instead of being inspired to build their own path, they decide to sabotage yours or steal your blueprint. Your friends know your weaknesses. They know your fears. They know your strategies. Every vulnerable conversation you had, that's ammunition now. Every secret you shared, that's blackmail material. Every dream you confessed, that's a target. The Machiavellian understands this. Keep your friendship circles and your ambition circles separate. Your real friends don't need to know your business moves. Your business associates don't need to know your personal life. Compartmentalization isn't cold, it's intelligent design. Look at history. Caesar was killed by Brutus, someone he trusted. Jesus was betrayed by Judas, one of his 12. Countless empires fell not from external conquest, but from internal treachery. The closer the relationship, the deeper the knife cuts. This doesn't mean trust nobody. It means trust strategically. It means understanding that humans are tribal and competitive by nature. When you succeed, you trigger their insecurities. When you rise, you remind them they're still at the bottom. Some will genuinely celebrate you, cherish those rare souls. But most, they're waiting, watching, calculating when your success can benefit them or how your failure can elevate their status. So what do? You share selectively, you reveal strategically, you trust incrementally and verify constantly. You understand that loyalty is earned through mutual benefit, not assumed through history. Keep your plans vague, your goals private, your strategies invisible. Let people see the results after execution, never the blueprint before implementation. The wolf doesn't announce its hunt. The lion doesn't telegraph its attack. Apex predators move with silent precision. You want to reach the top? Stop broadcasting the climb. Stop giving people the map to your treasure. Stop handing out weapons they'll eventually point at your back. Operate like intelligence. Share nothing. Trust few. Verify everything. Comment, I trust actions not words. If you've learned this lesson. Section 5. The Stoic Shield. Emotional independence from validation. Here's where most people fail. They share their success because they're addicted to validation. They need the likes. They crave the comments. They're desperate for external proof that they matter. This is weakness, and weakness gets exploited. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the opinion of others is smoke in the wind. He understood that seeking external validation makes you a slave. You become dependent on the reactions of people who don't pay your bills, don't share your struggles, and won't be there when everything collapses. You post your win. You get 200 likes. Dopamine hits. You feel accomplished. But here's the trap. That feeling is temporary and addictive, so you need to post again and again. You're no longer achieving for yourself. You're performing for an audience. This is how they control you. When your self-worth depends on external validation, you've handed your power to the crowd. They determine your emotional state. They dictate your confidence. They own you. The Machiavellian Stoic operates differently. His validation comes from internal standards. Did I execute my plan? Did I improve? Did I move closer to my objective? The answers to these questions matter. Everything else is noise. Social media has weaponized this weakness. Platforms are designed to exploit your need for validation. They've turned your achievements into content for their algorithms. Your real success becomes secondary to the performance of success. Wake up. Your business revenue doesn't need an Instagram story. Your promotion doesn't need a LinkedIn announcement. Your personal growth doesn't need a Twitter thread. These things are real without an audience. They exist independent of recognition. In fact, they're stronger without it, because when you don't need validation, you become immune to manipulation. When you don't seek approval, you can't be controlled through its withdrawal. When your confidence is internal, external attacks bounce off like arrows against steel. This is the Stoic shield. This is emotional independence. Epictetus taught that you control only your actions and reactions, nothing else. Other people's opinions, not in your control. Their jealousy, not in your control. Their validation or hatred, completely irrelevant to your actual progress. So why give them power by seeking their approval? The moment you stop posting for validation is the moment you reclaim your sovereignty. You work for results, not reactions. You build for legacy, not likes. You achieve for personal standards, not public perception. This shift is psychological warfare against a system designed to keep you dependent and distracted. They want you broadcasting. They want you vulnerable. They want you addicted to the temporary high of social validation while your real life remains mediocre. Reject it entirely. Build in private. Succeed in silence. Let your bank account know your worth, not your follower count. Let your peace of mind reflect your growth, not your engagement metrics. Let your actual life be the evidence, not your curated digital performance. The truly powerful don't announce. They don't explain. They don't justify. They simply are. When you need nothing from others, you become dangerous. When you seek no validation, you become unpredictable. When your confidence is internally sourced, you become unconquerable. This is the Stoic shield merged with Machiavellian strategy. Internal validation, external silence, absolute power. The weak need audiences. The strong need only results. Which one are you? Comment, I validate myself if you're breaking free from this addiction. Section 6. The strategic invisibility, becoming a ghost in plain sight. Now we enter advanced territory. This is where most people's understanding ends and true Machiavellian mastery begins. Strategic invisibility doesn't mean hiding in your basement. It means controlling what people see when they see it and how they interpret it. You're not absent, you're selectively visible. There's a profound difference. Think of it as information warfare. Every detail you reveal is a data point. Every photo you post is intelligence. Every status update is reconnaissance for those studying you. And trust this, someone is always studying you. Your ex is watching to see if you're happy without them. Your former colleagues are monitoring whether you succeeded after leaving. Your competitors are tracking your moves. Your fake friends are measuring your progress against their stagnation. They're not rooting for you. They're gathering evidence for their narrative about you, so you give them nothing, no ammunition, no updates, no proof. You become a question mark they can't answer, a mystery they can't solve. Here's how this works practically. You're building a business. Don't post about the journey. Don't share the struggles. Don't announce the clients. Work in complete darkness. Then, when you've built something undeniable, something generating real revenue, something that can't be stolen or sabotaged because it's already established, that's when they find out, through someone else, through indirect discovery, never from your mouth. The impact is psychological devastation for your enemies and doubters. They had no idea. They couldn't prepare. They couldn't interfere. They couldn't position themselves to benefit or sabotage. You just appeared at the finish line while they thought you weren't even racing. This is strategic invisibility. Sun Tzu wrote in The Art of War that all warfare is based on deception. Appear weak when you're strong. Appear absent when you're present. Appear idle when you're actively building empires. Your silence makes you unpredictable. Unpredictability creates fear. Fear creates respect. People can't gossip about what they don't know. They can't spread rumors without information. They can't sabotage plans they're unaware of. Your invisibility neutralizes their weapons before they can fire. But here's the deeper level. Strategic invisibility also protects your psychology. When you're not performing for an audience, you're free to fail privately. You can experiment, you can make mistakes, you can pivot without public embarrassment, you can learn without judgment. Section 7. The Dark Triad. Understanding the predators around you. Let's talk about something most self-help content won't touch. The people who will destroy you aren't random. They follow patterns. Predictable, identifiable, dangerous patterns. Psychology identifies them as the Dark Triad. Narcissists, Machiavellians, and psychopaths. They're everywhere. Your workplace, your family, your friend group, your romantic relationships. And they're exceptionally good at identifying targets. You know what makes you a target? Broadcasting your success, revealing your vulnerabilities, showing your hand before the game is over. Here's how each type operates. The narcissist sees your success as an insult to their superiority. They can't tolerate anyone outshining them. When you share your wins, their fragile ego fractures. They'll smile and congratulate you publicly while privately scheming to diminish your achievement. They'll subtly criticize. They'll give backhanded compliments. They'll redirect conversations back to themselves. And if subtle doesn't work, they'll escalate to character assassination. Sure, he got promoted, but did you hear about his personal life? She made money, but at what cost to her integrity? They can't destroy your success, so they destroy your reputation instead. Your announcement gave them the opening. The Machiavellian is different, colder, more calculating. They don't operate from ego, but from strategy. When you reveal your success, they're taking notes. What did you do? How did you do it? Who helped you? What resources did you use? They're not emotional about it, they're analytical. You just gave them a free masterclass in your methodology. Now they'll replicate it, improve it, or find its weaknesses to exploit. They see your transparency as foolishness, and they're right. The Machiavellian doesn't hate you, they simply use you. Your shared information becomes their competitive advantage. You thought you were inspiring them. You were actually arming your competition. Then there's the psychopath, the most dangerous. They lack empathy entirely. Your success doesn't make them jealous or calculating. It makes you interesting, a challenge, a game. They'll befriend you specifically to get close. They'll mirror your values to gain trust. They'll learn your weaknesses through casual conversations. And when the moment is right, when you're most vulnerable, they'll strike without hesitation or remorse. Your business partner who drains the accounts and disappears. Your friend who seduces your spouse for sport. Your colleague who frames you for their mistakes. Zero conscience, zero hesitation, pure predation. These aren't rare personality types. Studies suggest 1 to 4% of the population are psychopaths. 6% are narcissists. The numbers for Machiavellian traits are even higher in competitive environments like business and politics. Do the math. In a social circle of 50 people, you're statistically surrounded by multiple dark triad individuals. In a company of 500, they're everywhere, and every single one of them is activated by your public success. The narcissist feels threatened. The Machiavellian sees opportunity. The psychopath identifies a target. Your announcement just rang the dinner bell for predators. Now here's the Machiavellian response. You mirror their tactics without becoming them. You recognize these patterns, you identify these individuals, and you give them absolutely nothing to work with. The narcissist can't attack what they don't know about. The Machiavellian can't steal strategies you haven't revealed. The psychopath can't exploit vulnerabilities you haven't exposed. You become a blank slate, polite but unrevealing, friendly but strategically distant, present but informationally absent. This isn't paranoia, this is pattern recognition. This is understanding that predators exist and they hunt by exploiting the naive openness of those who think everyone shares their good intentions. Most people go through life as prey because they broadcast everything. They signal their weaknesses. They announce their plans. They reveal their fears. They're essentially walking around with vulnerable target tattooed on their foreheads. You're different now. You understand the game. You recognize the players. You know that silence isn't antisocial behavior. It's survival strategy in a world populated by people who will absolutely use your transparency against you. Does this mean everyone is evil? No. But it means enough people are dangerous that blanket transparency is strategic suicide. The strong protect themselves by controlling information flow. They share nothing valuable with those who haven't proven trustworthy over years, not months. They understand that trust is a currency that must be earned through consistent, demonstrated loyalty, not assumed through proximity or history. You want to survive and thrive in a world full of predators. Stop being prey. Stop broadcasting. Stop giving them anything to sink their teeth into. Become informationally invisible to everyone except the tiny, vetted circle who've earned access to your real life. Everyone else gets the performance, the mask, the carefully curated version that reveals nothing useful. Comment, I see the predators, if you're awake to this reality. Section 8. The power vacuum. Let them underestimate you. Here's a principle that separates amateurs from masters. Underestimation is your greatest weapon. When people underestimate you, they don't prepare for you. They don't defend against you. They don't see you coming until it's too late. This is advantageous positioning that most people accidentally destroy by broadcasting their competence. Listen carefully. Your ego wants recognition now. Your strategy demands invisibility until victory is secured. These forces are in direct conflict. Which one wins determines whether you succeed or fail. The ego says, look at what I accomplished, acknowledge my worth, see my value. It's desperate, needy, weak. The strategist says, let them think I'm harmless while I systematically dismantle every obstacle between me and my objective. Guess which approach wins wars? Robert Greene documented this in the 48 Laws of Power. Law 21. Play a sucker to catch a sucker. Seem dumber than your mark. When people believe you're less intelligent, less capable, less ambitious than you actually are, they lower their guard completely. Your competitor thinks you're no threat, perfect. They'll make mistakes, they'll get comfortable, they'll ignore you while you quietly capture market share, build superior products, steal their best talent. Your colleagues think you're just average. Excellent. They won't sabotage you. They won't compete with you. They won't see you as a threat until you're already in the position they wanted. Your ex thinks you're struggling without them. Beautiful. They'll never know about your transformation, your upgrade, your evolution into someone they could never deserve. This is strategic underestimation. You cultivate it through silence. Every time you resist the urge to announce your wins, you're making an investment in future power. You're allowing people to maintain false assumptions about your capabilities. Those false assumptions become your advantage. Muhammad Ali used to do this before he became famous. He'd act weak, tired, vulnerable. His opponents would get overconfident. Then, in the ring, he'd destroy them with skills they never saw coming because they didn't prepare adequately. This is psychological warfare at its finest. The moment you broadcast your strength, you force others to respond strategically. They raise their game. They form alliances against you. They study your methods. They prepare countermeasures. You've essentially announced, I'm a threat. Respond accordingly. Stupid move. Instead, stay quiet. Stay humble in appearance. Let them think you're ordinary while you're systematically becoming extraordinary. Let them sleep on you while you're working. Let them dismiss you while you're positioning. Then, when you strike, when you reveal what you've built, when you demonstrate what you've become, the shock alone destabilizes them. They can't adapt quickly enough because they never saw you as competition. By the time they realize their mistake, you're already untouchable. This requires killing your ego daily. It requires being comfortable with people thinking less of you than reality. It requires patience and discipline most people don't possess. But that's exactly why it works. Most people can't resist bragging, can't resist posting, can't resist showing off. Their weakness becomes your competitive advantage. You stay silent, you stay hungry, you stay underestimated. And when the moment is right, you reveal yourself as the force they never anticipated. Underestimation isn't disrespect. It's positioning, it's preparation, it's the setup for a knockout they'll never see coming. Comment underestimated and unstoppable if you're playing the long game.